All right, we are recording, and what's up, y'all? We're here to learn about non-negotiables, and I'm really excited about today because this has been one of the best things that I've found to help navigate my own health, and then also it just makes more sense when we go over it. It's going to help kind of like click a little bit about what you need to be doing. This is what happens when we work one-on-one or in a group setting with my clients, is that it's just I'm going to be guiding you through the steps that we need to be taking. So I do want to kind of warn y'all, I am all coughing, boogery, fun Nicole today, which is awesome. So just kind of bear with me if I end up I have a box of Kleenex, I have water, I have tea, I have myself all set. So, I mean, I feel good. I'm like on the tail end of this, but it's still just wanted to give you a warning. So I'm going to share my screen, and then that way y'all can we can get this webinar started. So today is the non-negotiables webinar. It's our roadmap back to healthy you. And I'm your host, Nicole Eichinger. Hopefully y'all know that by now. So why do we need non-negotiables? Well, these it's our compass. They let you know kind of how to guide you through the hard times. And it helps you also to be able to, when you reach to your goal, the health, whatever it is, it helps you also to keep yourself on track. So we're going to be going through all of this here in just a couple of minutes. But like, for example, this is a great example. And am I perfect? No. And this is why non-negotiables are awesome. A couple of days ago, hence why this is all like right here, I actually had a migraine. This is my first migraine I've had in 9 months. And it was just kind of like I felt like a perfect storm of things. But then when I looked back at what was going on, I looked back at my non-negotiables and I was like, okay, Nicole, since you broke your foot, you've been a little bit lazy with a couple of your non-negotiables. And I made sure that I was good about my anti-anxiety non-negotiables. However, I forgot a few other ones and my anti-inflammatory, and it just kind of, I didn't balance things right. But the good thing is, I know my non-negotiable, so I know what I didn't do. So now I can prevent that from happening. So it's not the fact that these non-negotiables are going to get you, the weight off or the anxiety gone, your hormones balanced, whatever it is that you're trying to aim for. It's not that you won't ever have an issue with those. It's that you're going to be able to, bounce back a lot faster from it, but also be able to realize, okay, it's kind of your compass. You realize, okay, I messed that up. Whoops. What else? What did I not do? So that way you don't stay off track for a long time, right? Because that's what happens with a lot of us, is that we do something and we realize, oh no, I screwed up. Let me just like, oh my God, I'm just going to toss my hands up. I'm going to throw in the towel. And I find that a lot with people that end up coming to me is I see them as like, I've tried all these things, but then when we go through what you've done to try things, is that when you hit a hard time, this is what I find all the time, and I'm not saying you in general, but just what happens. A lot of times we tend to give up and say, oh, it's too hard, it was too difficult, or it wasn't for me, it wasn't the right thing for me. But what happens is a lot of times is when we find these non-negotiables, it wasn't the fact that it wasn't the right thing for you. Maybe it wasn't the entire picture. So these non-negotiables can be, when I talk about the health aspect of these, it's the nutrition, supplements, and lifestyle. And then you can also, I want you to start looking at this, like how can you apply this to other areas of your life? Because this has been something really fun that I'm doing with my kids, with my garden. And so I'm trying to find these things. And it's just, like I said, it's just kind of a roadmap to how do I get myself to be at my best? How do I get myself back to healthy when I'm off track, right? So that's what I'm doing now. I'm drinking, I added those non-negotiables that I accidentally kind of fell off track with a little bit, added those back in. I'm feeling a lot better, right? So it's your guide, your roadmap. And so what we're going to be doing is not necessarily like diving into every single one individually, but I want to go through your day with you and be able to say, okay, from the time you wake up, these are the non-negotiables. And so you'll get the full picture of the nutrition, supplements, and lifestyle. And this is also how I approach healing and in general, is that we have to get these three legs of think about the table, right? You're the tabletop, you're on top of the table. If we don't have the three legs there, we're going to fall over, right? So we don't have anything to support us. So these non-negotiables are here to support us, to get us to where we need to be. So, like Julie Andrews said, let's start from the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. And I started singing this when I was typing this out, so I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, so morning routine. So when you go into your morning routine, you have your what needs to get done, right? You have this chunk of, I have my to-do list of things that I have to do. Like, we have to feed the kids. We have to shower before work, or maybe you're a nighttime shower, but you have to get changed for the day. You have to do your hair, put deodorant on, brush your teeth, right? We have all these routines that we've already put into place. There's some of us have to go through and actually prep for lunch, right? If it's school time again, what do we have to do? Do you pack the kids' lunch? Does your husband need a lunch for work? Do you need a lunch for work? Do you have an idea of what you're going to be doing for lunch, right? Have an idea of something beforehand. It's going to be, that's something that you think about typically. And if you don't, that's going to be one of your non-negotiables, right? So as we're going through this, I want you to have a piece of paper with you and write down, I even have mine, rewriting down, like, okay, make your morning routine list. So as we're doing this, okay, what do I normally do for my morning? What is it the morning, what do I normally do? What is my normal routine? And then you have to go through, and this is just a typical one that I just kind of made up off the top of my head. Obviously, the kids are going to be more in depth. I have a 5 and 6 year old, soon to be 5 and 7 year old, and they can get dressed by themselves, but it doesn't mean that I don't have to remind them a few times, right? Hey, did you get your shoes on? Hey, did you get dressed yet? Hey, let's kind of remind them and do all that. So having everyone, like, do they have their own chores? Do they make their bed? Do you make your bed, right? Having your own routines in the morning is going to help out with knowing what to do for the rest of the day. However, this is what typically we normally do, is just stop right here. We just stop at this as our morning routine, the stuff that needs to get done, right? The stuff that has to get done. But what's missing? What else is there in there? Like, what else is there for you, right? What will make you feel your best? That's what it is that we're here to learn about, like, what can we do to feel our best? And some of these things are going to help you out, right? Eat breakfast. That's going to be a good part to feel your best. When you're dirty, you don't feel that good, right? So some of these things are going to be part of that. But you also have to realize that some of my morning routines are not going to be the same for you. So what makes you feel at your best? And this one, we can open up, Lisa, if you want to chime in. I want to be able to have this as me to be able to actually help and guide you. So if you have questions along the way, definitely ask them, and feel free to chime in, unmute at any time. And then also, I have open questions at the very end. And for those that are watching the replay, know that you have, you can reply in an email to me, and I'll do my best to help you out on there as well. So I want you to ask yourself, what makes me feel at my best? For me, I love to listen to the birds in the morning. That is something I absolutely fell in love with since we moved out here in California. It sucks when they wake us up at 2:00 in the morning. I don't know what's going on with them. We've already hunted and can't find them. But I love to be able to wake up early, read my book, meditate, and hear those birds chirping, hear the start of them having a great morning. And I'm just setting myself up for a great day. That's one of the big non-negotiables for me is I need to make sure I start my day up here, right? So if I don't have some of these morning routines, my morning starts down here. And then if someone else were to, when you drive to work, or you're walking the kids, someone cuts you off, walking the kids to school, someone else hits you, right? That's happened once to us. That could set you off, right? That could bring you in, and you could plummet and hit rock bottom really fast. Or maybe you get to work and there's a big problem at work, and you have to deal with it. Or maybe the kids are out to get you today. Whatever it may be, if you start your day off low, you're going to get knocked down. We need to make sure that you start your day up at a higher vibration, a higher, happiness, a higher level of, okay, I'm really doing good today. And not, and this is kind of tricky though, this is where the mindset comes into play. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But if you get knocked down sometimes though, if this isn't a daily routine, we can really just, oh, gosh, things keep happening to me. I keep getting knocked down. I'm going to give up, right? So we have to also be aware of, it's okay. Things are going to happen. I can bounce back up. And that's the thing that, like with anything, I want you to think about when it comes to what people call a cheat day, right? Oh, I had a donut in the morning instead of my breakfast. Or I went out and I had a drink with some friends instead of sticking to my diet, whatever it may be. Or I had a whole sandwich instead of taking off some of the bread, which is what you think you have to do. Whatever it is, sometimes what happens, right? We beat ourselves up for that. And then it causes a lot of heaviness to like lay inside of us. So our morning routine is there to help bring us back up, to help us be up at our best. And so that's why starting your morning off in something, doing something that makes you happy, doing something that you can do to help bring up that vibration, bring yourself up to that happiness. And so one of the things that I do, again, I have young kids, is, and I only have recently been able to do this because they are getting up to an age where they can go pour themselves some cereal or some oatmeal, make themselves some oatmeal, read each other books, is I have a mommy time out until 7:30 in the morning. I wake up typically at 5:30 in the morning. And so that gives me time, an hour to read my book. That gives me time to meditate, to journal if I want, to do whatever it is that I feel called to do that morning. And then it also gives me another hour to work because I run my own business. I have to have that time and I have to find that work life, mom life balance, right? So this is what that morning routine is for me. It's time for me to get an hour of work in. So that way when the kids wake up, or if they do wake up during that time, whenever I'm off work duty and back onto mom duty, I don't, I give them hugs and I welcome them. And if they need help, I obviously am there to help them, but they know for a general rule, as I set my boundaries, I protect my energies because, okay, if I don't have that hour to myself, I get lucky because I work for myself. I do have an hour to that, but maybe you only have 5 minutes. Maybe you only have 10 minutes. Cherish that 5 minutes. Don't be scrolling on your phone doing something else. Take that 5 minutes to meditate, to pray to God, to whatever it is that you want to do to get yourself into that higher, self, that better vibration. Whatever it is that you need to do it. Allow yourself to have that time. Give yourself that time, because when you do that, again, things throughout the day are going to knock you down. It helps make sure that you don't end your day crashed, that you don't end your day trying to dig yourself out of this big old hole that you're in. See, there's the coffee. All right. So since we're talking about health, right? And then, like I said, we can apply this to anything out there that we can. What health condition do you have and what can you do to support it? So like I said, I'm Lisa, if you want to open this up, since you're the only one on, I'm definitely, let me know what it is. But let's say you have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. I have a lot of clients that end up having this as well. And what's something that you can do? If we have PCOS, we have to stabilize our blood sugar. That's one of the main things that we have to do. So we can't skip meals. So nutrition, what can we do? Well, we're going to eat breakfast. I thought I could highlight this. For nutrition, we're going to eat breakfast. We're going to eat a nice breakfast that's not full of refined sugar. So pancakes aren't going to be our best bet. Doesn't mean that we can't have pancakes. It just means for my morning routine, my non-negotiable, I'm going to have a healthy breakfast that's going to support my blood sugars because I have PCOS and I want to make sure that I start my day doing well. But because of this PCOS, I also have more weight on my body. And again, this is just me kind of putting out there some of the clients that I've been working with. And so, if you can relate to this, let me know. Because I have a lot of weight, I also need to reduce inflammation in my body. So I need to make sure that I have foods that are going to help support my goal at reducing inflammation. And then I'm also going to take some supplements, like my fish oil is going to be huge in to help reducing my inflammation. It's really the key in my stabilizing my hormones with my my PCOS. And because I know that being anxious and nervous can increase my blood sugars, and stress can also do that, I'm going to make sure that I start my morning with a meditation. So that way I can be calm and that I start my day with my blood sugar stable. And then, you know what? I'm also going to start adding in, a morning walk around the block if I can. Or if I can't do that some days, I'm at least going to do some yoga, just 5 minutes. I'm just going to stretch. I'm just not going to do much, but it's not going to be a big deal. This is just my morning routine that I allow myself. But you see how so when we look at it, oh my God, I have to do all these things. It seems so overwhelming. But when you say it like that, it's like, oh, I'm doing it because it's going to support me. It's going to help me out. It's going to give my body what it needs. It's going to be easy. I'm not stressed about it. It's just, this is what I'm doing. This is going to help me out. See how just a little bit of a perspective of how morning routines, if you kind of look at it as, wow, this is cool. I have my morning routine now. I'm getting up. I now wake up and stretch. I take my lemon water, right? I do all these things because it helps support me. If you start learning about how these foods and how these things can help support you, of course you're going to want to do more of it. You start feeling better. You're going to want to do more of these things. That's why you hear me fuss about all the keto all the time. I did a recent post about the keto, was the keto flu. Why would you want to put your body through something that you feel worse? You don't already feel good. Like, let's do stuff to support yourself, to make you feel better, to help you out, to support you, be those legs of that table, right, that you need so you can stand strong and stand tall. So that's where these non-negotiables start to come in, and see how they're going to change for everyone. It's not going to be the same across the board. So that's why this pen and paper is really helpful, because as you're going through, let's say, okay, this is making sense. I'm learning this. This is good. I understand what I'm needing to do. So I want you to start continuing this. Excuse me. With all your daily activities, right? So when you're driving, what are you listening to? I know I have a lot of clients that were listening to as an NPR for a while. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. Or the podcasts that were all about politics. And I'm like, I get your passion about that. What's that doing with leaky faucet issue? What is that doing for your anxiety? What is that doing for your mindset? If you're constantly thinking all these negative, heavy things, you're going to be feeling heavy, negative things all the time. So one of the things I love to do is I put on something positive. There's even driving meditations that you can do to set your tone. Put some Tony Robbins in, put some Lewis Hayes. Let's try to find something that brings you joy. Maybe, for me, I love to garden. Maybe I find a podcast that talks about gardening and I learn all these awesome gardening tips. Maybe you're really into, singing, or you love to ride horses. You found something, I don't know, whatever it is, find something that can put some good into your brain. You put good in, you get good out, right? So my kids, sometimes, I do listen to the radio and we just jam out and have fun. For sure, those are always welcome and you can totally do that. But getting into the habit of listening to good things are going to help you out. You're going to start realizing that you're going to be grabbing all these little tips and little tidbits that are going to help you feel better, right? So utilize your time efficiently. And so, a lot of the stuff that I learn now and teach you guys here is from doing stuff like this. From when I was, and when initially I threw myself into personal development. I threw myself into it because it was something I've never really done except for working out, right? So that was my personal development. I was developing myself personally. I really wasn't doing anything else. So I dove into it really headstrong. But, you have to find that balance for sure. But trying to put that good in is going to be really, really crucial with making sure that you stay down this path and that you don't get knocked down hard. And that if you do get knocked down, you get to bounce back up, right? The mindset is the huge part that keeps us going on this journey. Also the support, also some guidance, right? You need that as well. Or we all need it at some point in our lives, right? I'm just ending a relationship with my coach, and very soon there'll probably be a new one coming around, right? And so you're going to go through these times where you might need someone to support you through that. So support it through listening to something good on a podcast, right? So also, when you're, maybe you didn't pack that lunch, you forgot, whoops. But what can you do when you're out now? What can you grab that you can eat that can support your health condition, right? What can you do? What can I do to help support me? That's always what I'm thinking about. How can I add more antioxidants in here? How can I add more color into this? How can I support my body? How can I give my body more what it needs so I can be the person who I want to be, that has the energy to do all the things, that sleeps well, that gets to go to concerts. My husband and I were at concert last night, Santana, and just loving life. Like, how can I enjoy my life like that? What can I do? And eating a lot of this it's going to get you there. But also, like I said, but we have to think about things ahead of times too, right? So before you leave the house, my purse, unless I'm bringing my little like satchel, and sometimes I'll even stick some nuts in there as well. But my purse, you will always find a bag of nuts with me. I'm always carrying a bag of nuts, because if I'm out and I'm hungry, my blood sugars are gonna be going all out of whack, and that is not good for hormone stabilizing. And so plus I have a higher metabolism. I have my thyroid revved up in a way to where it supports my body. So I get hungrier more often. So I need that. So I will eat 2 snacks a day. I eat at least 5 times, sometimes 6 a day, because that's how much my body's need. That's what I found out my body needs. So before I leave the house, I make sure I have a snack, or I make sure the kids, hey, did you need to bring anything before we leave, right? As a reminder, we tend to ask the kids that. Ask yourself that. What do you need? Do you need to grab that apple? Did you eat breakfast? Do you need more water to bring with you, right? What can you support? What can you do to support yourself before you leave the house, right? Think about all of that. At times when my anxiety was at its highest, I had to put on essential oils every single time, because that was that was part of my healing process. That's part of what I teach all, that when you have anxiety, that's one of the tools that I teach you how to use, is how to utilize those essential oils at home, and then how to bring it out there with you in public to help you out with your anxiety, right? That was a huge part. So that was a non-negotiable for me before I left the house, is that if I was going to be meeting someone else, which I'm leaving the house, that was something that I needed. So, and this is also going into your night routine. Like, what can you do to prepare for the day ahead, right? I am not a night owl. So the fact that I was out last night until like 11:30 was crazy. I am usually in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock, because I'm up by 5:30, right? And so I need to, or if not earlier, my husband this morning was up at 4:45. So it's, we need our sleep. I'm not good at doing things before. I'm a morning person. So I have to put that, my night stuff that many of y'all can do, I have to make sure I have time in the morning to do that, right? But for many of y'all, you thrive. You can stay up a little bit later than I can. You have a little bit more time. So, or if you don't, what can I do to help myself throughout the day, right? For the next day. Do I need to work on my sleeping better, right? Do I need to sleep? Or are you waking up in the middle of the night? Are you having difficulty falling asleep? Do you wake up not feeling rested? What can you do to support a good night's sleep? So when you start looking at all of these daily activities that you're doing, start asking yourself that, what can I do to support myself? What can I do to support my health? What can I do to support whatever it is that's going on? So for right now, with all of this, I'm getting more nasally. One of the things that I do is I take my elderberry syrup now a couple times throughout the day. So I took it this morning when I woke up. It's about that time again. I'm starting to notice, I need a little bit more assistance, right? What can I do to support myself to get back to where I need to be? So I'm drinking more fluids. I made more shakes than I typically do. I'm not eating as much solids as much. I'm making sure that my body is hydrated enough to thin out this mucus, to get it out of me, right? And so I'm doing all of this to support myself right now, because that's what I need at this moment. When I ended up moving here to California from Texas, I needed to support myself more mentally than anything else. So I had to, sought out a counselor. I sought out a coach. I had multiple support systems there, because I didn't have my closer support system. I didn't have my parents, but I also knew that, some of the things that we were going through, I couldn't turn to my husband for everything. I couldn't turn to my mom for everything. So that's why we had to get a counselor, right? So whatever it is that you're going through, we tend to have people there that are experts that can support you, that are there to help you out along the way. So that way you can go through whatever it is that you're going through, so you can be the version of yourself you're meant to be. And so for some, that might be hiring a personal trainer. I know I have a lot of clients that also have personal trainers too, because that's not my forte. They can't hire me for that. I know how to work out, but I don't know exactly every single muscle, what you need to do to get it to its best. I can help you eat there and get you there nutritionally. But we have to realize that we have to do things and have people in our lives to help support you. So that's what I have for y'all today. It is a short 30 minutes webinar, which I hope was helpful for y'all. Sometimes it can be really long-winded. But if you have any questions, Lisa, there's a question. You can unmute, or you can definitely hit reply. I'm going to be sending this out in an email very soon, and that way you can have you can watch this again. But I also want to offer y'all a next step for accountability and support, because I know that I throw a lot of stuff at y'all, but then you're like, what do I do with all of this? And hopefully having this non-negotiable webinar helped you kind of understand what to do and how to not be so overwhelmed with it, and how to kind of break it down into your daily activities. So that way it's just doing things that can support you, right, through that. But I have now a Health Warriors VIP. So this is the first time anyone's hearing about it. It's for you guys here. And if I don't hack up a lung here or choke on my spit, I will be good. But so what this is that I want y'all to be able to have a place to get the support and guidance that you're needing, the accountability, and to help you to be able to get unstuck, to be able to ask me any questions, to have the support of others. And so what we're going to be doing is I have a Health Warriors VIP now. So we're going to meet once a month. And in that, we're going to be like this over, but it's going to be an hour session. It might go a little bit longer depending on how many people end up joining, because I want to make sure that I'm able to help guide and help you out with any step of the way. And so what we'll do in the VIP is I'm going to be providing y'all support. So the more you ask me questions, hey, Nicole, I'm struggling with this, I'll be like, hey, I can talk about that at our next VIP meeting. Or here's, maybe you need a meal plan, or maybe you need a health guide that I made. So this is like your chance to kind of get all the things that I've done, that I've made in a way to be able to work with me. So it is a 6-month subscription, $33 a month. So it's totally affordable to be able to help out and get the support and accountability that you're needing. So like I said, we meet once a month, and that's always going to be negotiable, but depending on when everyone can meet. So right now it's tentatively on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, like I said, it's brand new. That's just a time I threw out there. I've done these in the past where we do them in the evenings, if that's what we need. So I am totally open to be able to, help you whatever you need. But I also don't want to just let you be done and not have anything else to go to. And I'm finding that many of y'all are asking me is that you want to work one-on-one with me. You want that guidance with me, but you don't have that time and commitment, but you want to make those changes. And so this is what this VIP is that way you can commit an hour at least a month to this, but also you have the Facebook group that we're going to be in there for support and questions daily. If you want to ask me a question daily, I'm in there. I'm going to be doing weekly training, sometimes monthly, having guests come in to help out. So definitely getting a lot for your bang for your buck. So it's just, like I said, my way of continuing to help you guys out with whatever you're needing at that time. So it's kind of a nice place for you to get that accountability, that guidance, and that support. And then we can definitely start off with making sure that you have your non-negotiables in order, so that way when we start going along, the 6 months together with that, and it's ongoing too. So it's going to be people rolling in. But the first, 6 months together, if you want to continue that, obviously, absolutely, would love to be able to help support you further. But I want to just at least have a place for you to be able to come in and really get the one-on-one that you're wanting. It is a group setting, but to be able to have a place to have people that are going through something similar that you're going through. And the cool thing about these group settings like this is that kind of by default, you're kind of forced to show up more, and you also kind of get pulled on everyone else's coattails, right? So you kind of see and get your health sped up at a faster rate than you would if you were doing it alone. So like I said, I wanted to extend this to y'all. I am going to put this in the email, but I did want you to understand that there's a chance for you to feel better and to do it in a way that's going to be really, really helpful for you. So like I said, if you have any questions, by all means, ask them right now. Or like I said, when you, any of the emails that I've already sent out, I think I've sent out like 4, and then also in the email that's soon to come. So if you'll have any questions, I am here for you. And I'm really excited to welcome you into the Health Warriors VIP, and to be able to, become that health warrior and become that version of yourself that you're proud of and happy to kind of share off to the world. So if nothing else, I will see y'all very soon. All right, bye. Stop the share, and I'll see you. Bye, Lisa, and anyone else on the replay.